as smart as he is, it's like you're trying to play stupid about what's like clearly in your face. Like, come on, dude. Like, seriously. So, Ben is also thinking when he reads that list from the questionnaire, like, shit, I've hit the jackpot. She's into every fucking thing I want. You know, she's put bondage, she's put gag, she's put everything on there. And she's doing it at a 5 level, you know, it's the highest one. So he's thinking, I won the lottery. I really won the lottery. But clearly her actions don't match that list. Because when you tell her to do stuff, girl acts a little different. So, come on. Like, I was like, I don't know what the hell you getting that excited for. So the Steven guy also found out like the whole Sam was one of her professors. She had got like an A- in this class. So again, the girl, come on, this is saying just journalists like all over it. It's like, what is so hard about you all understanding that? So then they go downstairs, and Jake has gotten a chef for the day. So the chef has like made meals for everyone except for Ben, because Ben only eats like once a day. Like, that's what he does. So when the ladies come up, they're all naked. Kamani comes up. She brings up about the safety words. So of course Jake gets pissed, and he asks Claire if she needs a safety word, and of course she says no. You really think she's gonna say yes in front of him? It's like, you're making this worse for that girl. So again, she thinks she's helping, but you're not. So then Jake makes Claire get on all fours and makes her oint like a pig. And so then all the women are given pet names, and they have to reenact and have to act like a pet in order to get their breakfast. So Ben says that he's going to have Kamani be a puppy. She was mad at Ben because she thought like he was going to get her out of it. Nope, he's going to make you do it. So then Jake was like, that's accurate since she's such a bitch. I was like, damn. So then Ben made her go fetch a pen in the corner, and she did. Now that pen was actually one of her recorders. She hadn't thought anyone noticed it, you know. But so again, we're putting this thing of like Ben is sharp, but then it's like, but he can't fucking figure out that she's a journalist. But I digress. So so she goes and gets the pen, brings it to him, and then they made the girls have to go. This was all Jake's thing, this portion. So then the girls had to go dive in the cold water, fetch a lifesaver, and then bring it back. And then whoever sucked off their master and like swallowed all their cum, they won like the nice breakfast, like the French toast. So the Ryan girl wound up winning, I think, when it was done, because I think she got the lifesaver first. And then what happened? Yeah, she won it. It was Ryan. She got that. And then the other women had to drink cereal and milk from a bowl, but they can't use their hands because they're animals, right? So then Kamani refuses to do it. And so she's like, basically, bitch, I'll go hungry before I do that. And so she had gave, you know, Ben a blowjob, but she had made him like he had to put on a condom, because her excuse was, you know, when she did for the Scarlet auction, yes, she put, you know, no condoms, but that was for people that had been tested and everything, and like Ben hadn't been tested, so that wasn't fair to her. So Ben didn't trip. He didn't like it, but he was like, okay, fine, go get a condom. So she did it to him. He came, but he lasts a long time because Ben can like have an orgasm but not come. He doesn't have to nut all over you to have an orgasm. He's like, you know, I think it's with the Taoism. He's like learned how to control his body to where he can enjoy these orgasms and before he ever busts a nut. And so she thought she was good at giving head, but like he lasts a lot longer because he doesn't just come like that. He's not like the other guys that just, oh, make me come, oh, and then they just come. He's not like that. So that made me laugh because her jaws hurt, and I thought it was funny. So then Jake puts a freaking dog collar around Claire's neck, and he has the shit on 7, and the top setting is 10. So of course the girl was in pain. Kamani's screaming at Jake to turn it down, and he's like, shut the fuck up, I know what I'm doing. Even some of the other guys was like, dude, just chill, and he didn't care. He kept doing it. And so the poor little girl, she's writhing in pain. Kamani yells out mercy, because that was supposed to be, they had came to that agreement as well for the women. Mercy was their word, their safety word. And that didn't matter to Jake. That bitch kept doing what he was doing. And so then she knocked out the controller out of his hand. And that Ben had left out. And when Ben came in, he helps Claire out. He's like, are you okay? And he's like, she put on there that she was into trying different things. And he's like, yeah, but do you like it? And she said no. And he's like, well, clearly this isn't something for her. He said, plus she has milk still around her neck, and you can cause her to electrocute herself. Like, if you're going to do that play, you got to do it safely. And Jake's like, I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? He's just such a jerk. Just a class A piece of trash. So then Ben wants to take the boat out, and so he takes Kamani, and then Jason and Lisa come along as well. And of course they start talking about the situation with Jake, because of course fucking Kamani's gonna bring it up. And Jason defends him and was like, he would never hurt anyone, I've known him since college. So then Ben teaches Kamani how to water ski. She loves it. She thanks him, for teaching her, because she had a great time. She absolutely loved it. And so she was like, thank you for her treat. He said, that wasn't your treat. And she was like, oh. So then she starts talking to Lisa again about the Jake situation. And of course Lisa's like, yo, you need to chill, and you need to worry about your own man. She was like, don't get it twisted. I'm glad I don't have Jake as a master, because he is an asshole. She was like, but you gotta also look at that, she, I only put that I was into like a 1 on a lot of stuff, but the woman that was, with him when they were doing the questionnaire did say, if you want to go for a little bit more, you might want to up your numbers. She was like, so on a couple of things I did up it. She was like, but I only upped it to a 3. So then Kamani realizes, okay, yeah, because that's what the lady told her. Kamani just went to the extreme. Like, putting 5s for every single thing is an extreme. And to me, that's like, that's just a little, like, come on. Again, that comes back to doing your research, And plus, Lisa's like, listen, you're lucky. You got, like, the hottest guy. He's always looking at you like he wants to just fucking devour you. It's so sexy. And it's like, she's like, she's like, plus he just gives you that look. And Kamani's acting like she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about, but that bitch knows. You know what she's talking about. So that was my thing. Focus on can't be Captain Save a Hoe out here. Claire is in her own world. That's that. Stop trying to save her. I can't stand that. So then Ben comes over to her, and he whispers in her ear, like, he brings her back over to the other side of the boat, and he's like, I'm gonna put my cock in your pussy. I was like, well, shit. He was like, fuck it, because he's been withholding all this time, because he's been wanting to be inside this woman this whole time. So it's like, we ain't playing this shit no more. Like, I'm finna get me some. So she, of course, is like, I can give you another blowjob. He's like, nah, I'm good. Nope. That's not gonna work. So of course, the moment he starts touching her, she's wet, and he's playing with her clit, and then before you know it, she's begging for his dick. So of course he makes her come, and he's still hard. So then they go for round 2, but this time he had her kind of tied up to where she could just take it. Like, she couldn't go anywhere. All she could do was just take it. And so of course, when she thinks she's like she can't take it anymore, he's taking her to like a whole new level of pleasure that she experiences. Like this whole, it's crazy, and she squirts again too. And so she thanks him for her treat, and he's like, "That wasn't your treat either." I was like, "Whoa." So when they go back to the cabin, Jake and Derek are like fucking their girls on the table, and then they're like swapping, so they're going back and forth. And so Ben gets a call that he has to have a meeting with the Dawson guy before the election. So he schedules to go back. So he was trying to use the pen that he had found in the corner, and of course the shit didn't work. So when he opened it up, he saw it had a USB. Okay, here we go again. You know this is her pen. It's got a USB inside of it. And we still can't figure out that this is a whole ass journalist. It's like, come on. So, at first, he's taking Kamani with him. And so Jake's like, nah, you can't take her. Like, I just loaned you her. And Ben's like, 200,000 isn't a loan. So she was scared to leave Claire, which of course pisses me off, because it's like, if the girl is willing to do that, then fuck it. You cannot save everybody. Like, seriously. So she agrees to go with Ben, and of course when they get on the plane, she starts quizzing him, asking him all kind of questions. And so she asks to use the phone to talk to Sam. So she goes in the bathroom, talks to Sam, and she says, look further into the family. Apparently there's a meeting he has to do this week. Like, see what you can find out. And then she's like, and you really need to check out that Jake. I think his last name was like Whitehurst or something. She's like, you really need to look into him. And so Sam was like, well, try and see me, when you get in the city. So she's trying to concoct a plan. So she figures she'll tell Ben she's going to get her hair braided. And he's like, well, that shouldn't take that long. She's like, no, I'm going to get micro braids. And so Ben's like, that's going to take all day. Because you got to remember, Ben went to Howard University. So he's been around black women. So he knows about things. So he's like, that takes all day, So she's like, but you're going to be in meetings always. So it'll like keep me occupied. So he agrees to it. So when they land, a nurse boards to take blood samples for the STD testing. And so the nurse, so Ben tells the nurse, get her email so you can send her the results. Because Ben was like, that's the reason why we can't do Raw? Fine, we finna get these tests done because I'm going to be in you Raw. And at first she was still trying to say, but safe sex is still just the best way, but... Ben wasn't thinking about that. Ben's like, we gotta change this shit. So then his security detail, Batar, comes on board, and Batar was like, you should have let me come. He's like, nah, there's nothing you need to do. He's like, but I had never been to that part of the, in the mountains. That would have been nice. He's like, nah, you need to come. It's okay. So then, of course, Kamani brings up the Jake dude again, and Ben was like, he's harmless. And so, she asks if they can get something to eat when they get off of the plane, and he takes her to Chinatown. Of course, she does that whole, I'll pay you back for the meal. And he's like, you think I can't afford $10? And so she's like, it's about the principle. So they go back to his place, which of course is absolutely gorgeous, super nice. And he has a whole ass basketball court. And they play one-on-one. And just like in the movies, their lips get all close. And then... he was like, he was not about to let this opportunity pass, because a couple of times they mouths would be closed and then she'd pull away, and he's like, fuck that. So they had, of course, the most intoxicating erotic kiss, and then he tells her, okay, now you're ready for your treat. I say, well, shit. So he took her to what Kamani calls his BDSM dungeon. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so, it was an overload on her sensories, honestly, kind of looking at everything in that room, because it was a lot of stuff, And so, of course, first thing, he ties her up, and he told her if she comes 10 times, then he would let her sleep in the bed with him. But if she didn't, she was going to have to sleep in the cage. And yes, this man had a cage that was large enough for a whole ass human. And so he starts making her come, and when she gets